the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content on info@millenniumnews24.com. Download the Millennium News 24 app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Stay tuned with Millennium TV and Millennium News 24 for the latest updates.
Welcome to our show, What's the Way, with a new episode. And today, we're going to talk about how did the Muslims enter the new countries, and we're going to compare this with what the non-Muslims they did, just like also with this I'm talking about like the discoverer Christopher Columbus as an example, and also what they did, the European in America, and how they did this, comparing to the Muslims with America. So welcome again to our show, What's the Way? This is BARRA from the Middle East, and welcome again. So going to talking about this, first of all, I'm going to start with a verse from Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, لَتَجِدَنَّ أَشَدَّ النَّاسِ عَدَاوَةً لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الْيَهُودَ وَالَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا. It means like most people, they are they hate the Muslims, and they want just kick out the Muslims from all the close areas. Is the non-believers, I mean, like who's believing in statutes and those kind of people, and also the Jews. وَلَتَجِدَنَّ أَقْرَبَهُمْ مَوَدَّةً, and you find the people who is just close to the Muslims, and they kindly do a lot of relationships with the Muslims, is the Christians and Nasara. Why? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said that because among them there's popes and priests and the monks, and because they aren't arrogant. We can find this that in the Ottoman Empire 1,000 years ago, the Muslims in Turkey, they were in touch with the Muslims in Europe. Of course, sometimes it happened like battles, that's normal. I'm not gonna enter with this, but I'm gonna talk about they were like relationships. They were like the traders getting in and out. And what's the evidence about this? The evidence about this is the only way in that time. The only way, I'm talking about, like, 1452 and before. The only way, ladies and gentlemen, in that time was through Islamic land. So it's impossible to not do any kind of relationship between the Muslims, the empire in Turkey, the Ottoman Empire, and the Europe. It's impossible. We know that the famous road from China to Europe was there. That was the only way. So the point is, and that's why, like, the Muslims, when they were in Indonesia, they entered to America, and they went there, and that's a fact. And who said that? And let me just tell you, like, Louisa Elizabeth, in her book, she said that traveling in that time was easy to America, so anyone can travel there. So the Muslims, she mentioned this, the Muslims, they traveled to America, and some people from the native people in America became Muslims, and also that was easy. And they said, there's also a fact about this, that they said the Muslims they did amazing maps in America, specifically South America. Was something incredible. They did this. They made this. Was a fantastic way, and they when they did this, they depend on, they went there, they saw, they wrote, and some scientists from the Muslims, they shared in this in their books. Now, in 1453, you know, the Istanbul, which is Constantinia in the previous name, uh, the Muslims entered to Constantinia specifically. And let's go. I'm gonna start from the whole beginning. So be patient with me. They started from there, and they defeated the Europe, like the Christians in uh, Turkey, basically. Now, and they took all Turkey and the Istanbul, which is Constantinia, and after this, in 1451, I'm sorry, before this, in 1451, in 2 years before, Christopher Columbus was born, and he was in Italy. He saw this was something horrible. Like, it's one of, one of the popes, he said, one of the eyes of Christianity just took from the body of Christianity to the Muslim side. So that was something very bad. And close to this, also Isabella, which is a queen in Spain, she kicked out the Jews and the Muslims, all the Muslims from Spain and Granada and all those places, out of Europe. And she said, if anyone if anyone want to be just want to live here in Spain, he should be, or in Andalus, basically, he should be a Christian, Jews or Muslims, or go out. Go out. So Christopher Columbus, just between all those, and because what I'm saying this is as an example, it was the beginning of this century. Uh, Welcome back. And sorry about this technical issue. So we were talking about Christopher Columbus and what he did. So he asked, in between all this, what's happening, the Muslims here out, also the Muslims, they took, they made Istanbul instead of Constantinople and all those things. So he saw how the reaction of Europe's and the Western countries. And he told Elizabeth many times that he gonna, like, instead of going west, instead of going, I'm sorry, east, every single time through the Muslims and just do a business with the Muslims, let's go west. Let's go to the west side. And he wanna he that's it's an argument. It's the main reason of all of this, that he wanted, like, it's a reaction. And he said there is some books, and I took this from many books, to be honest. One of the books to Mikhail, his name is one of the professors in Yale University. It's American University. His name is Alan Mikhail. So he talked about this also. He talked about Christopher Columbus. You can find some informations there. So when they went to, or when he said, when Christopher talked to Elizabeth, and some people, there's some books, they said he told her that he want to occupy, basically. That's the main reason. and he want to take people's land, and he want to bring some jewelries and some big I'm sorry, some jewelry, some gold, silver, and all that. When she accepted, and she said, "You gonna, I'm gonna make you an admiral, a name, famous name, like fake name," and she said it's in the military. And she said also, "I'm gonna give you 25% from all this wealth," and he accepted. He went and he saw. Some books, they said, like, when he said about the Native Americans, he said those are stupid people. They are just, those people. They are just giving me a lot of things for something. It's very cheap, very simple, and they were strong people. They were strong people. But he, when he went there, he took with him one of the Islamic scientists, one of the Muslims book. It's basically about geology or something like that. So when he depended on the Muslims books and the Muslims maps, and he went to America and he saw all of this, and then he went back with the wealth and silver and gold and all of that, and he started all this journey. And after Christopher, there's many people. I'm talking about 100 years, not just about like Christopher's story. So basically, that the feelings was just in I'm talking about in Europe in general, about what's happened as a reaction to what basically the Muslims had in the in this victory. And to be honest with this, like that's why this mindset of hatred not only in Christopher. I told you another example in Elizabeth. To the Muslims in the first place, because they lost, and also they were depend they that it's necessary to deal with him because I'm gonna go to China. This mindset, they took this mindset to America. They killed millions, and they forced the people there, just like Elizabeth, just like Elizabeth. They forced the people there to to change their religion or kill them. They kill over 6 million. I'm sorry, some numbers, maybe more. We don't know. So the point is, uh, but the Muslims, what they did with the native people, the Native American, as as um, as Louise Elizabeth said in her book, that they were doing this, the Muslims, peacefully. And unfortunately, what we see, like that, that this Islamophobia, which is they ask Allah Mikhail, which is his book. Basically, you can go to his book, which is Sultan Salim, Allah's Shadow. He wrote it in this book. You can find also, like in his book, this book, some information is from about Christopher, as I told you before. So they asked him about, like, do you name this Islamophobia, and what happened to Christopher, and how the hatred of, and he said, I'm not gonna say it's Islamophobia. I'm gonna say, like, he's just his it's the hatred of Islam in that time. And he also said, like, it's just because maybe some of these feelings we have it now in some places in America because of this. Uh, but the point is that when we talk about deal with the Muslims and the business with the Muslims, that's even in fiqh, in Islamic books. I'm talking about Islamic religion. You're gonna find a rules. There's rules about this. There's rules about this. So in this case, it's available. You can do business. You can go and it's not like something bad to do. It's something up to the person to do. And the same with the countries, the same with the countries. But the point is, when you find someone like he just one just, and it's that's the point. The point is here, brother, ladies and gentlemen, that the 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 Muslims, when they went in America, they just want they could, it was an empire. Maybe you can ask yourself, and why the Muslims, if they were in America before Christopher, and it was the golden age of Muslims in that time, why they didn't occupy America? That's a question. Why they didn't do this? And that was easy and simple, as Christopher mentioned. And the point is, because we don't care about the lands. We don't care about how many lands do we have. We don't care about this. It's not of the Muslims' mindset. It's not of the even the country's mindset. Prophet Muhammad also, he didn't think about this. The main point is just let people know about Islam. This is the main people, which is, I think it's kind of like, you can find this. I find this like it's a freedom. It's a freedom to do. It's up to the person. He can, like, with his ideas, and that's what basically, some people, whatever their religion is, they find this they find it bad in their country. But the terrorism, you can find it in any single country, in any single person, in any single religion, not just one religion specifically. And I want to make this clear to the people, to just notice on that we have examples, basically, that we have examples from the history about this. Let's go to break.
Hello viewers, this is BARRA from Middle East. Welcome in our show with The Way with BARRA. We bring here this platform Middle Eastern life culture, politics and the global village. I will be with you every Thursday, 1 p.m. live TV. Also podcasts. All iOS and Android devices. All Smart TV Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, and Apple TV. Globally, Horizon Satellite, and our website, MillenniumNewsTV24.com, MillenniumNews24.com, all social media platforms, Millennium News. I will see you there.
Welcome back. In this case, and knowing all of us, we know now what's happening now. Some like, we find in New York City, we find in just like when Zohran Mamdani just won, he's a Muslim also. He's showing like how, like, his, like, I saw some videos, the way of acting with the people and the friendly and all that. This is the normal characters to the Muslim in general. So what I want to just, when I was just, and according to the Quran, to the verse, what I say, like, some people you find like they are hate the Muslims, but that it's an advice. It's an advice that it's not, it doesn't mean like when you find this speech on the social media that you you should take care, you should take a look to the books of Muslims. You should take a look to and read some pages from Quran. You should see from Islamic sources, or from, like, let me say, the sources of Islam, which is, that's the as a professional man who's looking seriously about the truth, you should look, and you should look, not just hear from people, because there's a lot of lies about, like, about the Islam and the books, and then you're gonna understand this. You can understand like how simple Islam is. You can understand like it's. I'm talking about the religion. I don't. I'm not talking in my episode, this episode, about any kind of relation between the government and this, and the empires. That's something like bigger than me. uh but just we as a communities, we should live in peace together. um doesn't mean like, doesn't mean like, if you Christian, I'm not gonna learn from you. And we know like the Europe, many people, many professors, they said that, they admitted, they said we learned a lot of things from the Muslims, a lot of that, like the soap, uh, like a lot of things, taking help with like how clean yourself and how you use water, and all of those, the people, they took this from the Muslims basically. And also we learned, we as a Muslims, we learned from the Christian, from the Western countries, the technology and all those things. So in this case, I think when we live together and we understand each other, and then we can learn, and you can take a look about my book about Quran and see in this case, and going and being a Muslim or not a Muslim, I want to go and just, I want to change my religion, should I do this, should I don't want to do this. This is up to you totally. Nobody gonna force you to do this. Rather you're living in Egypt, rather you're living in Mecca in Saudi Arabia, or you live in uh, um, what Boston. It doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter like that. If you change your place, you gotta change your religion. Nobody said that. They can say like, even like Ronaldo now, he's living in Saudi Arabia, which is the majority of their people, maybe over 99% are Muslims. So the point is very simple. I'm just this is like summary about this, how we can live together. And this feelings from those years, from thousands of years, or I'm sorry, from hundreds of years, doesn't we shouldn't live those, or these feelings come to us. That's the point. That's our episode today, and I'm going to see you next Thursday, maybe with a new guest. I'll see you soon.